I've done it again. I forgot to unmute my microphone. Excellent start to the stream. Um, Here we are, 2 days out from the International Association of Scientologists 2025 protest outside the Church of Scientology's UK headquarters. And here I am, minding my own business, enjoying a little bit of a break, having just been on the grounds outside St. Hill for a whole weekend protesting. And suddenly, there is a mad influx of press interest in this protest. And I thought I'd come on and break my little short hiatus from YouTube to bring this news to you because I think it is important. But first, let's say hello to everybody in the chat. We have Lisa Terry here. Hi, Alex and chat. All the hard work is paying off big time. I'm so proud of everyone for their input and support. Well done, Alex. I hope you get a warm, fuzzy feeling when you see things like this. Yes, that is one word for it. I was kind of enjoying having some time off, but it's called me back. It's like a boomerang, this activism thing, isn't it? Every time you think you can take a day off, and then suddenly something comes up, and back I come. Andy Engram says, well done on another successful demonstration. Thank you so much. We have New Haven here from New London in Connecticut. We have Lisa Terry again saying, where although you are widely supported, you carry our flag as you encourage us on. Thanks. Yes, and look, this is one thing, thank you, but this is one thing I really want to get across is, being an activist is as much or as little as you want it to be. And you can just like and comment and, engage in debate online as an activist. You can write to your local member of parliament or politicians, elected officials. You can stand there and protest in person. There are many forms of activism, and you can make it as big a deal or as little a deal as you want in your life. But every time I seem to try and take a step back, just for a few days, having been outside protesting all weekend, I get an influx of messages regarding press and media. So here I am, back again. I will go back into hiding after this for a short period of time. Miss My Wicked Tribe says, wow, Alex, you've done a great job. Scientology has a huge flap on their hands, but will they get in trouble for flouting the council? Well, that's a very good question. And I can assure you, my emails to council officials have continued today. We are in conversations because, as part of planning the protest, another big part of this whole thing is speaking to the authorities after the protest and asking for feedback and reflecting on what went well, what could have been improved on, and where we can make changes and adjustments for the next protest, whenever that may be, so as to minimize disruption. So the work does go on continuously behind the scenes, even if I'm not here on YouTube. But anyway, let's bring you this first article. So today, I was minding my own business, and actually, it was yesterday. I knew this was going to be published yesterday, and it came out in today's Sun newspaper. And this is the article. Let's start with this one because it is the big main one that kicked everything off. The Sun. What the hell? Furious Tom Cruise flies helicopter low over town, scaring animals on way to chaotic Scientology bash. One resident described the event as like the circus coming to town. Well, this is mightily and majorly embarrassing for the Church of Scientology, because a circus is exactly what this organization is and exactly what this event is. And I'm so glad that with every single one of these articles, it's not just a case of me giving comments. Actually, these journalists have gone and spoken to local residents who have no affiliation with the protests whatsoever, who have voiced their concerns. And it is becoming increasingly clear that the people of East Grinstead simply are unhappy and have had enough with Scientology's shenanigans when it comes to this IES event. So let's read this article here. Tom Cruise angered residents of a town when he and thousands of other Scientologists rocked up for their annual Patrons Ball. The weekend bash at the Church of Scientology HQ in East Grinstead played havoc with the roads, and locals weren't too pleased that the Top Gun actor arrived, as usual, by helicopter. And here is a picture taken by a very well-respected member of our protest group over the weekend. Thank you so much for donating this image. And it is great that we managed to see Tom Cruise. Of course, I covered this in the live stream I did. Was it Sunday night or whenever it was? This was a major flap. There is no way Scientology will ever let us get this close to Tom Cruise again. I'm genuinely perplexed as to how Osa could have allowed his helicopter to land in a field that has a direct line of sight from the public highway and no obstructions whatsoever to obscure the view or the sound of protesters gathering on the street. But anyway, because of Scientology's poor event management, once again, we managed to get a photo of Tom Cruise himself in the helicopter, and here it is. One person from the West Sussex town who asked me not to be named said it's like the circus coming to town when it's the patron's ball. It's an endless stream of people and so much noise. The infrastructure isn't built for it, so it ends up being chaos. Then you've got Tom Cruise flying in on his chopper, and it causes a right old racket. To top things off, a minibus packed with Scientologists ended up having an accident with another driver, which meant one of the roads ended up being closed. Locals also vented their anger on Facebook, with one of them writing on a forum, "Tom Cruise flies over our garden, low, in his helicopter scaring the animals, only to come back again, first to fly past to wave at his mates, good grief." The bash is held every year at the St. Hill Manor, the Church of Scientology. It failed once again to get planning permission for a 45,000 square foot marquee to put everyone in. Last year, Mid Sussex District Council issued a planning contravention notice after they erected a similarly massive structure to host the gathering and advised they should apply for one this year. So I think this is a great article. It's just one of three that we're going to go over today. And what a major embarrassment for the Church of Scientology, being called out in one of the most read newspapers in the country for their failure to comply with planning laws and the disruption their event causes to the local community. This is an organisation that claims to be really good community partners that donates money to local charities. Well, you may pay the local charities and sports clubs £50,000, but that doesn't offset the disruption and the anger that is caused locally by residents because of your shenanigans. Scientology is what I have to say. Let's look at some more comments here. Rebecca NE4M says, "Congrats, Apostate Alex. Thank you so much." Rob, YouTube here. Alex, this year's protest done. I'm knackered, so I'm taking a few days off. Also, Alex, make 6 YouTube posts immediately and this live. I know, it's impossible. It's impossible to take a break from this thing. Every time I try and take a step back, it just pulls me back in. Jojo Bananas, hey all, thank you for joining. Cat Lady, wow, I caught her live. Cara in the house. I thought you'd done so much protesting, your voice went for a second. It did go for a second, but it wasn't because of the protesting. It's because I forgot to press the unmute button on my microphone. Very embarrassing. That's what happens when you take a short break from streaming on YouTube. You forget how to do it. I mean, it's only been 24 hours, but still. John Page in the house, John, Barney, and Jared here. Thank you so much for joining, the three of you. And big love to Barney. I'm glad he's okay. Barney, for those of you watching, is John's dog, and is a wonderful dog that joined the protest last year. And we also have Christy here saying Alex tries to get out, but they keep pulling him back in like the Godfather. Yes, one might even say, what did I do to pull this in? That's a little in joke there from the Scientology side of things. Let's have a little look at the next article here. Oh, we've also got Petrie Nara in the house and Lara FM. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so the next article that came out today. So The Sun is a UK newspaper. It's one of the most read newspapers in the country. It is a tabloid, so they're always going to focus on celebrities. It's not going to be an in-depth investigation talking about planning laws and local regulations and that sort of thing like you often see in bigger broadsheets like The Guardian or The Times. But it is a newspaper that gets a lot of attention, a lot of eyes that go on it. And because we saw Tom Cruise, it enabled them to report on Scientology's IES event, which I don't think they would have done otherwise. So thank you, OSA, for allowing Tom to park in the field that we could see him from the side of the road. And thank you, Tom Cruise, for showing up and giving us a photo opportunity, because without your help, we wouldn't have got that article. And I'm also pretty certain that we wouldn't have raised $1,000 for the Aftermath Foundation if it wasn't for your help, because we had a massive influx of viewers on the live stream on Sunday as a result of Tom Cruise showing up. So thank you, Osa, and thank you, Tom Cruise. The next article is in The Mirror, which is another UK publication, but it was published in their US arm, which means this is now an international press story. This article is basically the same as the Sun article. It talks about the disruption caused by Tom Cruise flying over in his helicopter. Let me just adjust the screen here so we can see it a little bit better. There we go. So this is the US Mirror. Tom Cruise sparks fury after scaring animals with helicopter on way to Scientology party. I won't read the whole thing out because it's basically very similar to the Sun article. It is a different publication, but they both decided to report on the story. A person who vented on a local forum says Tom Cruise flies over our garden low in his helicopter scaring animals, only to come back again. Meanwhile, activist Alex van der Barnes-Ross, a former Scientologist, told the US Sun he had turned up to protest over the event. He said over the weekend the event caused severe disruption to East Grinstead, and it's clear residents are getting increasingly frustrated by Scientology's clear lack of regard for their small town. Scientology talks about what it is and Thetans and their beliefs and so on. Tom is believed to be treated in an almost godlike way by members for his role in supporting the church over the years. He campaigned for Scientology to be recognized as a religion in Europe, and in 2013, he claimed his ex-wife Katie Holmes filed for divorce because she did not want their daughter Suri involved with it. So this is another major publication. This one is a story published overseas, again focusing on the disruption caused by Scientology's event, and quoting protesters and local residents, which again is a fantastic win. And finally, what I think is quite possibly the best article that came out today is in the Argus. Now, the Argus is a local newspaper that's published in Brighton, in Sussex, which is where East Grinstead is located. Brighton's just a short drive away. It is the local newspaper, so it's not national, it's not international, it's local. And the fact that a local paper is choosing to report on a local issue, quoting local residents, really exemplifies the disruption and the anger that is felt among the community in East Grinstead as a result of Scientology's event. Now, this article, instead of focusing on Tom Cruise, actually focuses on the bagpipes that Scientology played at protesters across the whole weekend and the noise from construction work. Now, a little bit of context, we had a bagpiper marching with us on the Friday. He joined us in our march through East Grinstead Town Centre, and he stayed with us for a short period of time, playing intermittently the odd song here and there. He played the Top Gun theme tune, for example, and that was our way as protesters of shining a light on Scientology's continual bagpipe playing. It was a tongue-in-cheek, comedic way of responding to their attempts to harass, intimidate, and annoy us, because for the last 3 years, every single day at the IES protest, for many hours, from the moment we get there until an hour or two after we leave, Scientology blast pre-recorded bagpipe music out over a loudspeaker system that is directed directly at us protesters, and it continues playing the same 3 songs over and over and over again for hours on end until we leave. Now, they do this because they want to try and annoy us, they want to try and cause disruption, and indeed, this article here talks about how local residents are complaining, but it highlights the fact that the only reason they're playing these bagpipe songs over the loudspeaker is because they're trying to disrupt protesters, and it really calls Scientology out for their shenanigans here. Let's take a look. This is the Argus. Why Scientologists play bagpipe music in East Grinstead. Let's carry on. Scientologists played bagpipe music on speakers all day over the course of the weekend to drown out protesters. Every year, thousands of Scientologists from across the globe descend on East Grinstead to attend its annual IAS event, International Association of Scientologists, at the UK headquarters in St Hill Manor. It is the biggest fundraising event in the Scientology calendar. The 3-day event took place this year from Friday 31st of October until Sunday, November 2nd. This is the fourth consecutive year that the event has attracted protesters. It's actually the third, but anyway. Protesters chanted and held placards calling for an end to abuse in the church. In a bid to drown out protesters, the church played loud bagpipe music on a large speaker. One resident, who wishes to remain anonymous, described the event as very disruptive. For 6 to 8 weeks, they were laying down pallets on the field to make a car park, so we had the disruption and noise of that, with lorry after lorry coming, he said. Then they made all the neighbours listen to bagpipe music on a loop all day. In the evening, they had 2 generators to power floodlights in the car park, and we could hear the generator no more than 60 yards from our back door. One didn't go off until 1 p.m., and the second generator stayed on all night. So, all night, an empty car park was lit up. I'm tolerant, I don't have a religion, but don't object to others having it. Scientology say they've cleaned up their act, but they still have the same boss, and I don't really believe they have changed their spots. The church made a request for a public spaces protection order in July 2024, saying protests held outside its premises caused harassment, disturbance, and alarm to its members. Mid Sussex District Council's cabinet was due to make a decision, recommended for refusal on June 30th, 2025, about whether to put a PSPO in place, but the church later withdrew their application. During a meeting of the council cabinet on June 30th, it was revealed that the church had sent personal information about protesters to the council. Robert Eggleston, leader of the council, said the unredacted dossier of information about some protesters looked like a data breach and encouraged the church to refer the matter to the Information Commissioner's office. So, what does this mean? This means that the Church of Scientology's International Association of Scientologists event this year has become a major foot bullet for the Office of Special Affairs, generating multiple media articles in the press about their shenanigans, about the obstructions, and about their attempted restrictions on our human right, our freedom to protest, our freedom of speech, and it's only made the church look bad. So thank you, Scientology, for inspiring us to continue protesting, continue shouting from the top of our voices about this abuse that is prevalent throughout your organization, and thank you for giving us an opportunity to spread this message far and wide, and for journalists to take up this valiant cause and report on the matter. I think this is huge, and I'm so glad the press are reporting on this and highlighting the fact that local residents are concerned. The tides are turning. It's very clearly not just me, it's not just those who stood on the verge outside St. Hill over the weekend. It's clearly a large number of people who are frustrated and, quite frankly, have had enough of Scientology causing disruption to their local community. And I would urge anybody watching this to join the fight, either by commenting, liking, subscribing, all of that stuff online, sharing these articles with your friends, but also by writing to your local elected officials. Write to your town councillors, write to your Mid Sussex District councillors, write to the county councillors, write to your Member of Parliament. It's just an email. It takes 5 minutes, and just let them know that you are concerned about the disruption caused by Scientology's event over the weekend, and you would like to see action taken to prevent the event from causing such disturbance in the future. The more people that do it, the more likely we are to get some sort of action. Now, I want to make it clear, I have no objection to Scientology holding an event somewhere. I have an objection to this event being held at this particular property. The infrastructure just simply isn't there to support the thousands of Scientologists that travel to this event from across Europe to hear reclusive leader David Miscavige speak. Their event should be held somewhere else at a purpose-built venue that has the facilities and infrastructure and road network in order to accommodate their large event. By building a massive marquee in an area of outstanding natural beauty without planning permission, and by forcing thousands of cars, apparently, although their planning application actually suggests it's only between 600 and 900 cars, anyway, by forcing them all to drive down a dark, narrow country lane that is insufficiently lit, that has no pavements on either side of the road, no pedestrian crossing, and a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit, your event is putting the public in danger. And not just the public includes your event attendees. The number of children and people we saw crossing the road at nighttime without high-vis jackets was alarming, and it is nothing short of despicable behavior from an organization that claims to be a church. So that's it from me. Let's have a little look at some more of these comments I've been starring as we go through. Millie here saying, love the Jubilee video. Thank you so much. Yes, of course, I was featured on the Jubilee channel recently in a middle ground episode called Ex-Scientologists versus Ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. I was flown out to Los Angeles to take part in this earlier this year. Of course, while I was there, Scientology tried to mess with my flights and tried to cancel my booking, my return flight home. That was something I had to deal with while I was over there in the US. And I told you guys about it on my channel. The harassment never ceases, but I am glad that as a result of it, we get all of this press and media attention, and Jubilee is one of those examples of people taking note of Scientology's abusive and harmful practices. So I'm glad you liked it. Thank you so much. If you haven't already watched it, go to Jubilee and check it out. They're a channel here on YouTube with millions of subscribers, and I would recommend it. It's a really fascinating conversation. Catherine Olsen in the house. Thanks, everyone. Yes, I'm great. Good to have you here, Catherine. So thank you so much. Selena here. Dave will be stamping his feet. His best friend is being embarrassed in front of everyone. Exactly. Captain Davy is certainly not going to be happy with the way things turned out over the weekend, and quite rightly so, because we managed to get our voices heard, and what David Miscavige fears most is people finding out the truth about the Church of Scientology. Rob YouTube here saying foot bullet. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And my wicked tribe here saying OSA folks going to be flying off to the new RPF precisely. Let's not forget the fact that as a result of people speaking out, people heads will roll, people will be punished in Scientology. In fact, the people who handed that check over to the mayor or whoever accepted it at the charity concert on a Sunday are victims of modern slavery, and heads will roll as a result of this protest. Of course, we don't want anybody to be abused or punished. That is not our intention. But quite a lot of the time, people being put on the RPF, people being punished because of something that has nothing to do with them and completely wasn't their fault, is the final straw that breaks the camel's back, that allows people the opportunity to realize the stupidity of this punishment system and therefore take the first steps in leaving the Church of Scientology. But I stand firm in my stance that the problem here is Scientology with its abusive practices and the harm that it does to its members. And I think all the attention we can get on that, the better. That's it from me now, guys. I'm going to go back into hiding for another few days, maybe a week, maybe a bit longer. Who knows? But keep your eye on the channel. And, well, you know, let's be honest. I say that. As soon as I finish this live, who knows, another press article might come out and I might have to go live again tomorrow. But my intention is to take some time off. So in the meantime, if you guys want to support the activism that I've been doing, please consider donating to the channel using PayPal or buy me a coffee. The links are down below. I can also reveal that we raised $1,000 for the Aftermath Foundation over the weekend, which is fantastic. And I'd like to encourage people to continue donating to this non-profit that helps people set up lives independently of the Church of Scientology after they've left. But the best way of supporting my channel, at least, is to like, subscribe, comment down below once the live stream finishes and the live chat closes on this side of the video. Please refresh the page and leave a comment underneath the video, because that helps push the video out to more people and then we get the message out to a wider audience. So that's it from me for now. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you very soon.